Welcome to an introduction into the navigation of the Sapphire One toolbar. In the toolbar you have 8 modes and you can select each one of those modes to navigate through the various modes. We have a floating palette on the left hand side with a translucent background. If we select a floating palette and we click on the drop down, we have the ability to go into data entry, inquiry, processing, reporting. If we drop into a data entry, in this case a client inquiry, it'll bring up a toolbar, and the toolbar will give us various options. So here we can select a particular client, we can go and modify using the toolbar. Now for all the icons on the toolbar we have keyboard shortcuts for all those. So in the case of modify it would be Control M. So if we go Control M on a keyboard, that will go and modify the particular client. If we go Control L, it'll do the same for look. And then we've got our various print options, so we can go to print and we have a drop down here when those are applicable. And then we've got our tools, so that the tools are always changing depending where we are within the Sapphire One application. So here we've got some tools that are included. With a client inquiry, we've got include and active, show parent-child related, batch email. Now the batch email is something that we can do from the Sapphire One. So in this case I had one particular client selected. If I go and select all those by selecting Control A, and I could have got through that through the options here. So I've got my show all here, and I've got my select all. Now if I go into the tools again and go batch email, I've got the ability to do a batch email out to all our customers, and we can add the inbuilt write processor with the application and build something using our write processor. So there's a introduction into the client and going into the toolbar. If we go back in here, we've also got various options here. So for example here, come up to my options and I can go show subset, so I can do a quick show subset. If I go Control E, it'll show all my records. So here, looking at the options, we've got a simple find, which is Control F, we've got an easy query, a detailed query, Control Y, advanced find, we've got show subset, show the last set, and then show all, which is Control E. We've got a mid subset, we've got save set, we've got load set, and we've got our tools, tasks, hide toolbar, and detailed sort. And then we've got actions, access loss, and global search. Now global search will go and search the entire database, every single table in the entire database in every field. We've also got the ability within the Sapphire One application swapping to a custom inquiry, and here we can go to the setup, or alternatively I could go over here and I could say I want my contact to be right beside the client name, so I can go and change any of those around. And then of course I can sort those, so I can go and sort those, and I have the ability to sort them the other direction. And then once I've sorted those, I can then go and save that as a particular set. So here I've added the contact beside the name. I can go and save that as a particular set, and we'll save that as a contact and give that a name and simply save that, and then that'll be in the drop down here. So I have the ability to go to a drop down if I want. So for example, if I change that over here now, move the contact to the right, and then I go back to my setup, and in my setup I select the contact and then select OK. That'll take us back to that particular setup. So a nice feature there within, and you've got that ability with all the transaction inquiry screens or client inquiry screens. Any inquiry screen, you've got the ability to sort those however you want. So if you want the total over here, for example, and you want the total of the particular transaction right beside the client, you've got that ability to do that within the transaction inquiry screen. That's a quick overview of the navigation of the toolbar. We've also got up here on the toolbar the ability to drop into various inquiries. So here I could go into my vendor screen, and then here I could also go and open my client screen. So I have the ability to have unlimited number of screens open simultaneously, so I can go and close those if I wish. And we'll just go and close those now. And then we've got the ability, once again, coming back in here, we've got the same functionality. So if we're doing a client receipt, for example, we're presented with a client, so we put the client in, and then we go put the amount of that particular receipt in. We're presented with a tool, so that's a forward arrow, lets us forward into the records, and then we can email that as a receipt if we want, so we can select the email option, or then I can go and save that particular receipt into the database. Here I'm asking it to allocate it, so I can go and allocate that if I wanted to, and then I'll green tick that and we'll save the record. If I go back into a client inquiry now and I selected a group of records, for example here, and I go control modify, and then we go and modify that, I can go through using the navigation here, and then I've got arrow keys on that as well, so I can use my arrow keys to quickly go through that list. Now I've got to my end record, I can go back to the first record, and I've also got a list icon up here, so I can quickly jump to button and bows if I wanted to in the particular list. So that, as I said, that's a quick overview of the navigation of the Sapphire One toolbar. Thank you for watching.